Matter is matter. Energy is energy. If you notice in the breakdown of the notes, I title each note shall matter through the ecosystem. We're starting energy now. Remember when I told you waste is waste and pollution is pollution, and what happened on the test? You mix them. Do not mix these. They're different. They have similarities. Now you must know where I'm going with this, but they have differences. One of the first differences is how it goes through the ecosystem. How does energy go through the ecosystem? We learned this since Unit 1. Matter cycles, energy flows, okay? Matter is a closed system on Earth, and I had you explain to me why. Why is matter a closed system? It can't be created or destroyed. Neither can energy, actually. So how is matter a closed system? Tell me. Because it's a constant cycle. It just changes throughout that cycle. It changes compounds. It changes states in some cases. We learned all the cycles. Energy is open. Who can explain that? Why is energy an open system? There could be two explanations. Wow. Because energy is lost as heat. Where does heat go? Everybody says up. But heat is going to go through our atmosphere and eventually exit. So energy exits Earth. That's why it's open. There's another reason. Where does energy start? Starts with the sun. Is the sun part of our Earth? No. So we get our energy outside of Earth. That's how it starts. It's not being created. It's coming from somewhere. And we lose energy when it flows through the ecosystem. Don't forget that. This statement will be applied on your test. I'm going to even tell you it's question number 1. How about that? Yes. There are 6 forms of energy. Every time I say, what are the forms of energy? People yell out, potential and kinetic. That is true. Potential is one of the 6 forms. Kinetic is the other 5. Who can name one? Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Solar. Wow. I got that last class too. Nobody ever says that one. Mechanical. Nuclear. Electrical. Heat. Chemical. Chemical is stored energy. Examples of chemical energy are fossil fuels and food. Don't forget that, because we talk about these all year long. It's this stored energy that gives us a whole bunch of things that we use that cause a lot of problems in the environment. And this whole unit is energy through the biosphere. So we're going to talk about, well, it's energy through the ecosystem and then energy through the biosphere. So we're going to talk about how this chemical energy gets transferred from one organism to another, okay? Which is very similar to matter. So, like matter, I've already named 2 similarities to matter and many, many differences to matter and energy. Like matter, energy has a law. It's called the law of thermodynamics. But there's 2 parts, so that already makes it different from matter. Part 1 is very similar, but it's not the same because look at the starting word, right? The starting word is energy. It's not matter. So if I show you a picture of cycling of matter, I'm asking you to describe matter. If I show you a picture and I'm asking you to describe energy, you have to describe energy. Okay? I gave everybody on the test 1 question and asked some people to describe waste and some people to describe pollution, and it didn't work. So I'm telling you right now, you're going to be tasked with this. So if you're going to describe the law of energy, What are you describing first? It cannot be created or destroyed. Sounds familiar, right? What can it be? Transferred, transformed. It cannot be cycled. If you want to write that, write it down. So if you see arrows exiting a transfer, that's because it's being transformed somewhere, but it doesn't go back into the system ever. It will never loop like matter does. And it's because of the second law. That explains this. So the second law has 3 parts. Every time energy gets transferred or transformed, what happens to energy? It gets lost as heat. Now let's talk about this lost. If you are heat, are you energy? Yes, it's one of the 6 forms of energy. Let me show it to you. Heat. That's why it's not being destroyed. It's being lost because you're losing the useful energy. So let's say this is my starting energy source, which is high quality. We could write that down. High quality energy is my solid energy. Just like matter. Can't spell. Okay? High quality energy is my solid energy. Coal is chemical energy that's high quality because it's in the state of solid. When it gets transferred, when it gets burned, it gets lost as heat. When it gets transferred to electricity, it gets lost as heat. But the heat is still part of that initial energy. It's just unuseful, or let's call it low quality. Now, where's my heat flowing? In what direction? Good job. Heat flows from hot to cold because molecules always move from where there's more to where there's less. So the heat is flowing from where there's more to where there's less. And during that flow, what happens to the molecules? What's happening to my molecules there? They're dispersing. It's not that they go slower. They're just going to where there's less. So that's called entropy. Entropy occurs because the molecules are dispersing or moving to where there's less, which means there's going to be movement further and further and further away.